in a long time, I think it might mean something. Thanks for all of you for coming out. It is really rewarding to see how many people are here. I guess that shows your concern for the state of the country right now. Hopefully it demonstrates your commitment to help bring some change to the 15th district. We got to do something. Mike Carey's not listening to us. We'd like to let Mike Carey know he's not going to get an easy ride this time around. We have very dear friends who live in Dublin, Mike and Lisa Basin. They are lifetime Republicans, not MAGA Republicans. They are reasonable Republicans. Do you remember those? So Mike and Lisa, Diane, and I signed a letter inviting Mike Carey to come to this event, a bipartisan event. We asked him to come talk to his constituents. We sent 3 certified mail. We appealed to him on his website. Absolutely no response. No reply at all. We need a representative who will stand up to Donald Trump when he violates the rights of citizens and non-citizens alike. They also have rights.
It's really wonderful to see people coming together and standing up for what you believe in. And I really appreciate all of you being here this afternoon. And I don't know how many of you may have thought about running for office yourself, whether it is a township trustee, a state senator, a state rep, city council, or a member of Congress. But I encourage you to do it, to have the courage to stand up there before the voters and say, I have something to offer you, I want to represent you, I can relate to the needs of this community, and I want to help make all of us grow stronger and better. It takes some guts to do it, but I think it's very worthwhile. It's still far too expensive and leaves too many out of the system. There's an answer to that, and it's called Medicare for all. We can talk about the federal budget. They want to talk about cutting the budget and cutting the deficit. There's things that could be cut, certainly. Like the bloated military budget that includes weapon systems that the Pentagon doesn't even want, doesn't even ask for. And we could talk about pocketbook issues. You know, the minimum wage has not been raised since 2008. Many people in our community, many people in the 15th district rely on the minimum wage. And I think we, as our message as Democrats, needs to be that we will fight to raise the minimum wage. We will fight for 15. We will fight for all of you. And in the meantime, we will also be taxing those millionaires and billionaires who have taken control. It's time to end the oligarchy and return power to the people. Thank you.
Right. What we just heard from Congresswoman Kilroy is what it's like to have somebody real representing us. Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you. That's what we're going to have again. That's what we're going to have again. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we are not getting in this district with this faithless and feckless and cowardly congressperson, Mike Carey, who does not deserve the title of congressman because he is not representing us. There's 2 things I want to talk about that are near and dear to my heart as a humanitarian and as a public health guy. On the humanitarian side, you know, after college, I got called to service into the U.S. Peace Corps. My beloved Peace Corps. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have served the Peace Corps all over the world. And I got to tell you, I don't think this got a lot of news. For the first time, I saw that they had canceled classes of volunteers to head out to Cameroon and to one other country, right? So it's coming. Even our Peace Corps, even one of the greatest symbols of American generosity and heart and spirit is in their sights. But that is part of something larger. What the heck are they doing to American standing and American leadership across the world? They are destroying it, and Mike Carey is complicit in that. Right off the bat, gutting USAID, shutting down aid programs. How many of my friends, especially in Washington, D.C., but also overseas, a good friend in Kazakhstan, of all places, who has served with his family in Nairobi and in Cambodia, where I used to live, and has been told, September, they're going home. He's done. All that expertise and how to help people on environmental and other programs, all that goodwill shut down. And the question is why? What are they doing, right, with these cuts? What is Carey complicit in? Is it part of some amazing grand strategy? No, it's just garbage. It's just an expression of power on Trump's part to take our most sacred values, our most important programs and things that are important to us as Americans, and say, you don't think I can get rid of it? Watch. Just because he's a jerk, just because he wants to feel like the big guy, and he wants to show that even that he can tear apart. That's it. Again, the smallest thing, the most venal and greedy thing manageable, to rip healthcare away from hundreds of thousands of Ohioans, from 25,000 people in District 15 who rely on Medicaid. Mike Carey is fine with leaving them on their own so that a few really, really rich people can hoard their wealth a little bit more. So this is the kind of fight that we've got in front of us, right? This is what we're waiting for the true patriot, all of us, patriots and fighters, to come along and say, Carey, get out. Cancel Carey, because we don't need him, we don't need what he's not offering us. He's not offering us anything. We need real fighters and real patriots in there who are going to fight for us and fight for America and fight for this district.
A congressman standing in here right now that says, hey, we've already got this bill passed, let's shove it through and make sure that we have broadband internet. The bill's done. Now we need somebody to help execute. He's not going to Trump and saying, hey, we have a bill, let's give my guys some internet. No. So what do? So today, I think we all need to be honest with ourselves and start saying, we need to start organizing right now. Everybody in here is a leader. And as a leader, I'm holding you to this. I expect everybody in here to go find 10 people and go knock some doors when it comes time. That's what I want from you guys. How many phone calls are you guys going to make? How many emails are you going to send to people? Okay? We need to get in our cars and go out to these places where they don't typically see Democratic door knockers. Let me tell you this. You know how we win this district? We stop letting people say, I never see Democrats. We just go. We go. You are the leaders, and we can really win this district. One final thing. If you guys have been following the special elections and how much Democrats are picking up over Republicans, even in deep red Republican districts, those deficits that we are making up in those districts are bigger than what we lost here in this district. You know what that means? This is a winnable district. There's no way that this coward should ever be in office ever again. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to let's go knock some doors.
I'm going to address our absent friend, Mike. Mike, you are the worst congressman for veterans and service members we've ever had in this district. Mike called me a couple weeks ago. Mike said, you're being way too tough on me in town halls. Why are you killing me, Adam? I'm killing you because you're not standing up for our district. That's why. You're not doing your job. You don't understand. I have to have these hard votes. It's so hard. And when Jim Jordan says, I got to vote this way, I got to vote, I said, Mike, it's not that tough. Support veterans. Support Ohioans. Right. Vote your district that elected you. So, three things. Why do I say Carey is a catastrophe for veterans? Here's why. He underfunded the VA to the extent that he didn't support a resolution that would have extended funding for all of the outpatient procedures. When I went to an event at Dayton VA, everybody said, well, you're running against that guy, you cancel my appointment. You're gonna win. We don't like him very much. You can't say that you're a veteran and you're gonna support the VA when you cut VA services and VA programs. That's number one. Number two, he's underfunded the PACT Act. Protection Against Comprehensive Toxics. It's maybe one of the most significant military pieces of legislation we've ever passed. Sherrod Brown and a Republican in the Senate got that done in a bipartisan way after literally 20 years. The VA canceled the homeless mortgage program for veterans May 1st. 5 consumer groups, mortgage lenders, the Chamber of Commerce, ACLU, people you don't usually see on the same side of the table testifying in Congress said, you can't get rid of the VA mortgage protection program that protects hundreds of thousands of veterans without a replacement. And they looked at people like Carey, and what did they get? Crickets. Nothing. So I got a call from the Personnel Command, a person, I'm not going to say their name, but because of all the cuts to the VA and all the DoD cuts, Trump has cut all of the civilian employees. So there's no one running the units the way there used to be and should be. So nobody's doing all the medical appointments. The wellness, they cut the wellness that used to be in every brigade. And this person was saying, please, if you have a chance to run, because there's suicide ideation is through the roof. It's unbelievable. We lost 6 people in this command. It's killing our veterans. It's killing our service members. We need a change in Congress. Thank you for coming and being part of a movement to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
They're taking a page out of the Republican playbook that is happening in Washington, D.C. And one of the places that they're starting is with public education and just the full frontal attack on public education. We see this in underfunding our schools, sending our public dollars to these voucher programs that are unaccountable. And in many communities, I talked about that this morning, our public schools, where 90% of Ohio's children attend, they are the centers of community. They are the centers of community identity. They are often the largest employer in those communities. And to not resource them, provide them the resources they need to educate our children is unacceptable. When the state does not step up and do its part, it's our local communities who have to fill in the gap. And that often translates to all of you, meaning that you will have more levies on your ballot, you'll have higher property taxes, and that is unsustainable and it's not right. What we see coming out of this proposed bill that came out of the House, which Carey voted for, in fact every Republican member in Ohio except for one person voted for this bill that came out of the House in Congress, defunds Medicaid to the tune of $2.5 billion just here in the state of Ohio. And puts at risk 480,000 Ohioans in not having health insurance. And that's just what Congress did. What we see in the State House budget is they actually have provision, trigger language provision, that would put at risk the Medicaid expansion program, and overnight, depending on what Congress does and how the funding happens, we could lose close to 800,000 coverage for 800,000 Ohioans. People say, why does it matter? Why do Medicaid cuts matter to me? Because I don't have Medicaid coverage. Well, if you were, every single county in this state has providers, whether they are mental health and addiction care providers, maybe obstetrical service providers, access to emergency rooms, etc. They keep their doors open because of Medicaid funding. And if they don't have that, that is uncompensated care. And you know what happens when you have uncompensated care? Providers, hospitals, emergency rooms have to close their doors. And that impacts every single one of us. So when we have people like Mike Carey in Congress who are voting against the health, against their very own constituents, that is wrong. They should be replaced. They should answer to those votes because they are accountable to all of you, to the voters, not to their party, not to a guy who sits in the White House. They are accountable to all of you, and you should demand that accountability. You should answer for those votes, and he sure as heck should answer to his constituents like Justin, and you're going to hear his story in just a few minutes. Keep working for candidates and keep showing up at places like this and talking, most importantly, talking to your neighbors, your family members, and making them understand what these votes mean for everyday people and how it impacts their lives, and not let people get distracted by everything else that the Republicans want to distract you with that don't mean a damn thing to how they can put food on their table, where they're sending their kids to school, and the health care that they get in their communities. So thank you very much. So Justin Martin is a teacher, he's a writer, he's a curriculum designer from Hilliard, Ohio. He's a graduate of both. Good. Yeah, Hilliard people here. From Kenyon College and Vanderbilt University. He was born with an acute case of both cerebral palsy and human dignity. I love that part. And he makes political speeches only when Republicans threaten the programs which allow him to dress, shower, eat, and leave home, meaning he's done it yearly since the age of 8.
My name is Justin Martin, and 60 years ago next month, my country promised me that I would not have to die in shame, isolation, rage, and filth for no other reason than being born 3 months prematurely. My country promised me that it didn't matter that my legs didn't work, that I needed aids to shower and dress me, a ceiling lift to get me out of bed, an accessible van to get to work. My country promised me a life, and it didn't ask about the price tag. You just heard my bio. You know what I've managed to do with that promise. You know what I want to do with that promise. A pilot doesn't keep her promise because she thinks her passengers are brilliant. A father loves his children even when they're unexceptionable, unkind, or sick. We never do the math because we love each other. We keep our promises simply because they are promises, and because we know that when one person keeps his promise, it's that much easier for the next person to keep hers. There are people who are paid to lie to you about what we all understand. They call themselves Republicans. Like our former governor, Mr. Kasich, they'll talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, and then only be able to show you 6 people that abuse the care provider system. They'll vote in the dead of night for billions of dollars in cuts to the program that makes your life possible, and refuse to return your dozens of calls about it, eventually coughing out some kind of form letter with the same excuses that you've heard all your life. Years before our government promised disabled people a life, yesterday, Senator Ernst pointed out that, quote, we're all going to die, for heaven's sake, end quote. So why not cut Medicaid? Representative Carey, President Trump, and the Republican Party play these inhumane games with all of us. They do this because they're making a wager. They bet that if they break a promise with someone who looks like me, you won't mind, and you won't think that you're next. They bet that you'll see gutting Medicaid as balancing a budget or tightening a belt, instead of seeing it for what it is, breaking a promise as brutally as when a parent abandons their children, a pilot pushes a plane into a nosedive, or a gunman opens fire in a crowded theater, not caring who it is he hits. Thank you.
Very powerful message from Justin. Thank you. You said it takes a country, it takes a community, and I pledge, I think, everyone in this room that we will fight as a community for you, with you, and make something happen to get this man pay attention to you.
Little things you can do today definitely sign the SB1 petition if you haven't done that, and there are people in the back with those. Yes. And if you live in the city of Columbus too, we've had the Columbus Safety Collective petitions. We want your comments on those little cards, those postcards, so leave them with us and we will take them to Representative Carey. There is a poster back there that's going to be delivered to him as well, so if you sign that, he will know that a bunch of people showed up and he did not.
Right.
He did not show up. He just talked to us. The magic is in us. I'm almost 74 years old. I am not giving up. I will not give up. I worked for these people when they ran. Wonderful candidates. And we will get another candidate soon. But in the meantime, we've got local races, you've got city council, you've got school board, you've got people, and you've got your friends and neighbors. And the biggest thing I want you to do is listen to your friends and neighbors. Listen to them, but let them know what's going on, because a lot of people are in bubbles and they don't hear the truth. So we have to talk to each other. I listed a bunch of stuff on the back of this one paper that you can do. And I want to also thank tremendously Indivisible Central Ohio for helping us put this together. And the cards with the QR code are out on the table if you didn't get one of those, or if you don't get the newsletter, which comes out every week. We have protests. We are going to have a great big No Kings protest on the 14th. Please come. There's one in Grove City. I think there's one in Westerville. There's one in London, Ohio. Springfield, Indivisible. Lots of people are doing things, but we all need to work together. So we need to build community and encourage each other, because that's what it's all about. It's about us. We have the power, guys. We have the power. So let's use it. Let's not get discouraged. Let's not let fear and apathy overcome us, because we can do this. So thank you so much for coming. Thank our speakers for coming. And let's all stay active and let's do stuff. Thank you.